Little Nemo, the Dream Master, a whimsical tale sourced from a Japanese cartoon and, moreover, sourced from an early 20th century comic strip by Winsor McCay. The plot follows a little boy named Nemo who is summoned into his dreams to become the playmate of a princess and later rescue her father, the kidnapped king of Slumberland. Nemo resists at first, but the princess's messenger bribes him with candy, and off they go. The game is divided into several different levels dubbed dreams. Before beginning his journey into a new dream, Nemo bumps into one of Slumberland's kooky residents who offer him advice about the forthcoming level. Nemo must find 6 different keys hidden throughout each area to progress. Some of these keys can be obtained just as Little Nemo himself, but since he can initially only throw candy to stun enemies, this scavenger hunt for keys can't be done solo. But by feeding certain animals, you can put them in a candy-induced coma prime for enslavement. Nemo can then jump inside their skin, obtaining their skill set to attack enemies and gather keys. There's a high-jumping frog in Dream 1, and in the following dream you'll come across a distant relative of Donkey Kong. He can punch and climb up trees. Animals aren't limited to one per level, however. Nemo can find a stationary bee in the same area and fly for a short time, shooting stingers at various foes. A mole also exists that can dig underground to find the less noticeable keys hidden in the sands of Slumberland. While the game boasts a handful of wearable creatures, soon you'll discover that some are a bit derivative in terms of mechanics. Like the mole, the hermit crab can also dig underground, albeit underwater. As another example, the mouse can climb rocks at a slow pace, as well as break apart blocks and rattle enemy brains with a mallet. But just like the mole and crab, he has a counterpart salamander that can also climb walls, this time at a much faster pace. You'll have to use every obtainable animal you come across to gather all 6 keys necessary to move on to the next level. The 8 dreams of Little Nemo are all noticeably distinctive from one another. Many are regular platform-laden levels, but some have gameplay events that further that distinction. The House of Toys dream is a forced-scrolling train ride with an onslaught of obstacles to overcome. Throw in flyby keys to collect, and yeah, this one is one rough ride. Nemo's own house becomes its own level, and continuing the theme of dreams, everything is enormously out of proportion. Water levels are also present, but unlike so many games in the genre, they're amphibious in execution, and serve as a nice blend of paces in a surprisingly chaotic game. And later on, you'll come across levels that shift the focus vertically. Little Nemo is not short on imagination, and given the subject matter, that's a good thing. Other platformers from this era are often quite linear, but Little Nemo has many little twists and hidden areas to find. Do a little digging to discover what each dream has to offer. This is in part what makes Little Nemo so fun to play. It dares to do different things with the familiar tropes of the genre. It's part Adventure Island, part Mega Man, and part Little Nemo. Just as varied as the levels are the enemies. A monkey dancing on plates, a homing tadpole out for blood, killer ants, and poison frogs. They're all here to make your stay in Slumberland a rather unpleasant one. The environments are often enemies in themselves. To get by, you'll often have to time everything almost perfectly. Sometimes it's best to use an animal form, and others it's best to just go in as Little Nemo. Jumping too high when one-hit kill spikes dangle right above you on the ceiling means instant death. When the game throws both enemies and environmental hazards your way simultaneously, that's when the true colors of Little Nemo are shown. This cute, colorful, kid-friendly game can be punishing in difficulty. Try dodging an enfilade of flying enemies while ducking under platforms, jumping over spikes, and trying to collect keys while on a moving train. However, the biggest source of frustration comes from the flying seeds. These repugnant dandelions float down from the sky and fixate on Nemo, regardless of his position on screen. And worse yet, like all enemies in the game, they regenerate endlessly until you leave the area. There is one especially aggravating part of the game where after becoming the mouse, you must climb up a wall and destroy bricks that block your path. This tight area is subject to a never-ending number of flying seeds, making it crucial to get up, destroy the blocks, and move on. Unfortunately, the mouse has a tendency of getting stuck between wall climb mode and its inability to connect with the mallet for some reason. This is a problem with Little Nemo. It's hard, which is good, but sometimes it's just needlessly hard. No one will judge you if you return to Dream 2 to punch them in the face with the gorilla. Closer to the end of your journey, you'll encounter a few boss battles. At first you may try to throw candy at them to no avail, but luckily the princess offers up a wand called the Morning Star that can beat the bosses senseless. This wand also has the ability to shoot diagonal projectiles. Similarly to Capcom's own Mega Man, if you hold down the B button, the Morning Star will charge up and release a more potent beam upon the enemy. Little Nemo the Dream Master personifies what a classic video game is all about. With vibrant colors, detailed 8-bit sprites and cutscenes, varied gameplay, and a memorable soundtrack worth noting, it hits all the sweet spots. The hallmark old-school difficulty often seen on the NES is also very much so present in Little Nemo. The game is forgiving enough to give you unlimited continues, and you will certainly be using them. Nemo borders on being unreasonably hard at times, but if you can master these difficult dreams, the imaginative characters and worlds make the trip to Slumberland worth revisiting.